A few hours ago, Huawei made a big statement in London and announced 4 new phones in their Huawei Mate 20 range. They announced the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, the Huawei Mate 20, the Huawei Mate 20X, and the Porsche design Huawei Mate 20 RX, which is hiding behind my webcam there. Now, Huawei have done very well in 2018 with their Huawei P20 Pro, P20 and P20 Lite. The P20 Pro has arguably been the best phone this year. It's always in the top 3. And the camera's got very, very good reviews. But I think these new phones will get very good reviews as well. Now, I've got a lot of tabs open in my browser here. I can't cover everything. There's 4 new phones here. It's hard for me to explain what's going on here. And there's a lot of similarities between the phones as far as the way that they're designed, what they're offering. They've all got the 980 chipset, which is the first 7nm chipset. But there are some differences. For example, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro doesn't have a headphone jack. The Huawei Mate 20 does. You can also see here from these photos, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro actually has a big notch here. And the reason, well, a standard notch, I guess you could call it. The reason being that it has the 3D face unlock. And that's not in the Huawei Mate 20, which is why the Mate 20 has a smaller notch. Whereas the Huawei Mate 20 Pro has, well, I guess you could call that the standard notch of 2018. So let's start with the Mate 20 Pro. I can't cover every feature. I'm going to skip ahead a lot of it and just kind of compare some features. Design wise, this has got the larger notch there. They've all got this kind of quad camera thing at the back, but it's actually 3 cameras and then one of them's a flash. So it's like a square quad design on the back there. And it's standard across all of these new phones. The only one it isn't standard on is the Mate 20 Lite. That wasn't announced today because that was actually out a few weeks ago. So where is it? So yeah, there's the Mate 20 Lite. That was out a little while ago. It was out a couple of weeks ago, and that doesn't have the quad display, but it is part of the Mate 20 range. So there's a lot of things to like about this. This one doesn't have the headphone jack, but it has an on-display fingerprint sensor. It has a really good battery life at 4,200 milliamps. It has a really cool wirelessly charging features. Now, it's talking about the world's first 7nm mobile AI chipset. I want to show you this mobile charging feature. So you can see there, 4,200 milliamp battery. This phone can not only charge wirelessly, it can also charge another phone wirelessly. So if your friend or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, if their phone supports wireless charging, you can use some of your battery to charge their battery. That's really, really cool. That's a fantastic feature. It's also got the fingerprint display, fingerprint sensor on the screen. It's also waterproof. This phone ticks a lot of boxes. It really does. There's a fingerprint display on the screen. Now, obviously the big selling point of all flagship phones today is the camera. And the camera on all of these phones is really good, but look at them on this one. Okay, one of them is 40 megapixels wide angle lens, f1.8. The other one is 20 megapixels ultra wide angle, f2.2, and the other is 8 megapixels telephoto. So that's 40 megapixels, 20 megapixels, and 8 megapixels. And the front camera is 24 megapixels and it supports 3D depth. So that's for logging in, etc. Now, just a quick summary. This is the GSM Arena page. This summarizes it quite well. 6.39 inch display. It's an AMOLED display, 1440 by 3120 pixels. 6 gigabytes of RAM, 4200 milliamp battery, 128 gigabytes of storage, and a micro SD card slot. And all of these phones have Android 9.0. Very, very impressive. But you can see down there the price, €1,000. You're probably going to be talking £850 or something like £900 in the UK. The Huawei Mate is, you know, again, it shares a lot of the similarities between these two, between the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. It's got a lot of the same features, but there's a few things that are different. I talked about the notch being a little bit different. You can see that the notch is smaller because it doesn't have the 3D unlock. The phone's obviously a little bit cheaper, but it's probably easier to show you the GSM Arena page. The display is one area where it kind of falls short. Now, obviously the Pro version is more expensive. The features are expectedly, you know, as you would expect, a little bit more powerful, a little bit higher. Here you've got a 6.53 inch display, 1080 by 2244 pixels. So the pixels per inch is a little bit smaller, 381 against 538. It's not a big issue for me personally. 6GB of RAM, 4000 mAh battery, still got Android 9.0. This version does have a headphone jack, but the sensors are 12, 16 and 8 instead of 40, 20 and 8. The front sensor is 24 megapixels as well, but it doesn't seem to have that 3D unlocking. But headphone jack, that's always good. Where is it? There it's there. So the Huawei Mate 20 Lite, this wasn't announced today. I'm not even sure why they've included it in the same range, because it doesn't even look like it's part of the same range. This one is a lot less powerful. Where's the actual chipset? There it's there. The current 710. Still a good phone. 6GB of RAM, 3750 mAh battery. That's way bigger than the Pixel 3. That one, sensor wise, it's got 20 and 2 megapixels in the back and 24 in the front. Now this is the least powerful. Again, I'm not sure if they're even including this one on the range. I'm not sure if they're including this one in the range. I don't know. It's got the smallest battery. The rest of them, you know, 4000 milliamp there, 4200 there. So they're branding it as the Mate 20 Lite, but yeah, I guess it's not the same. It's not got the same chipset. It's Android 8.1. So it's a little bit confusing in that respect. As far as the headphone jack, this one does have it as well. Okay, so next we've got the Huawei Mate 20X. This thing is 7.2 inches. I don't even know if you can call this one a phone at this point, but it is. 5000 mAh battery, 6GB of RAM. Sensors 40, 20 and 8 megapixels. Again, 24 megapixels at the front. And yeah, it's kind of... I didn't see this one coming. I didn't think they would release something like this. This is a massive phone. 5000 mAh battery. It's, yeah, I think they're targeting gamers here. You can see the notch there at the front. It's a lot smaller again. It looks great. So this is another variation of the Mate 20. If you're looking for a bigger screen, I'm sure a lot of people are, and you still want those bigger, you know, more powerful cameras, then this ticks a lot of boxes. The screen is, where is it? 7.2 inch, 1080 by 2244 pixels. So very similar to the Huawei Mate 20 as far as pixels per inch. Android 9.0 again. And this one, yeah, this one does have a headphone jack. Just checking there. Price wise, it says this one is €900. In fact, I'll just talk about price just now. That GSM Arena is saying €1,000 for the Pro. They're saying €800 for the regular version, non-Pro. For the Lite, they are saying, in fact, they've not got the price here. Oh, that's there, €400. Again, I don't really consider that a true Mate 20 here. And for the larger 7.2 inch, you're talking €900. Now, on the subject of price, look at the Huawei Mate 20 RS Porsche design. This thing is €1,700. And it's very like the Pro, as you can see here. Doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack. And if you look at the design here, you can see that, where is it? There should be a picture here that shows you this. It does have the big notch. So effectively, this is just a boosted up version of the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. It's got the same features and all that. This one's got the 3D unlock, which is lacking in the Huawei Mate 20 and the Huawei Mate 20X. But they've boosted some of the features up, and it's kind of hard to find those features. This is why I like using GSM Arena. If you look at GSM Arena, you can see that it's boosted up to 8GB of RAM, but 256GB and 512GB of storage as well. But apart from that, you're kind of paying a lot of extra money just for a small boost. You're paying for the leather design and all that. For me, I would go for the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. I think this is just for people with more money than sense, but hey, I'm sure there's a market for it. If you look on GSM Arena, they do have a kind of good summary about all of these phones, and it says here, Huawei is not one but two surprises after Mate 20, Mate 20 Pro announcements. First one was the Mate 20 7.2 inch phablet, which is mainly targeted at gamers, but has a lot more going for it. It's part Mate 20, part Mate 20 Pro. And, that kind of summarizes a lot of these phones. They all kind of share a lot of specifications, but there's a lot of specifications which are unique and different. As far as price goes, you're going to see some deals being offered in the UK here. Huawei had a big offer this year on the Huawei P20 Pro, and they gave out Bose headphones, and it was hugely popular, and it's one of the reasons why it was so popular in the UK. What they're doing now is offering, you can see it here at the top of the page, they're offering the Huawei Watch GT. Now, this phone was announced today as well. It looks like a really good phone, a really good watch. It says it's worth £259. And it's the same offer as before as with the Bose, as far as you order your phone and then you make a claim and then they send it out. Complete the online claim and then it'll be sent out within 30 days. So if you're buying the Mate 20 Pro, you will get the Huawei Watch GT and a wireless charger. That is the offer. So there's going to be lots of deals for these phones. There's always deals when new phones come out, but Huawei have really been pushing offers as far as, you know, ways to encourage people to buy. So yeah, as far as summarizing all this, it is quite difficult. But I would say that these phones, all four of them, are very, very impressive. This new chipset looks quite impressive. It's got good battery life. It's got an on-screen fingerprint sensor, triple camera in the back with flash. You know, there's so much to love about these cameras. The only thing that's, you know, the downside here is, as always, one of my complaints is the price. What I will say though is that earlier this year when I saw the Huawei release the P20 Pro, there was a lot of bargains in the UK. I'm sure it was the same everywhere else, but if you take into account that you get the watch free and the wireless charger free, you might be able to get a good contract deal. I know I'm not a big fan of contracts, but I did see a lot of contract deals which were quite good. You might be able to see some deals for these phones. Without doubt, I believe this to be a better phone than the Google Pixel 3. Simply, you know, specs wise, bigger battery, on-screen fingerprint display sensor. You've got the wireless charging feature that can charge another phone. You've got a micro SD card slot. If you go for the Huawei Mate 20 or 20X, you also get a headphone jack. It's waterproof as well. You know, I would be more inclined to go for this phone over the Google Pixel 3, despite the fact that the Google Pixel 3 doesn't have any bloatware, etc. I just think with the Google Pixel 3 coming out with 4GB of RAM, no headphone jack, and like a 3400 milliamp battery in the bigger one, and less than 3000 in the smaller version, I think that the Google Pixel 3 isn't doing enough to justify its £960 UK price. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. I will be checking out more reviews. I have absolutely no doubt that these cameras are going to perform very well in tests, but how it compares to the P20 Pro, etc., I've seen some reviews saying that it performs better. I saw someone else saying that it doesn't in certain situations, so I don't want to say with conviction that it is better because I don't know at this point. But a 40, 20 and 8 megapixel sensor on the back of the Huawei Mate 20 Pro and the Porsche design version is absolutely insane. This is a big statement by Huawei. I really do believe that. I really do believe that they're stepping up their game. And yeah, if you're on the lookout for a new camera, a new phone with a good camera, then you might want to check out these phones. But again, price-wise, you will be paying a lot of money for these phones. You know, as I said, I'm a big fan of buying cheaper phones like the Pocophone F1. I think performance, bang for your buck, you're not going to beat a phone like this year. But if you think differently and you want to get a premium phone, I would probably go for the Huawei Mate 20 Pro over the Google Pixel 3. And probably over the Samsung S9 at this point as well, unless you can get a good deal on that. Thanks for watching, guys. Giving you a view on this. It is quite hard for me to try and compare so many new phones, but this is what Huawei have done. They've come out with 4 beastly phones, all quite expensive, and they've also got that older Huawei Mate 20 Lite, which quite frankly shouldn't be included in the Mate 20 range because it's got a different CPU, different cameras as well. So, over to you guys. Let me know what you think about it. Please do leave a comment below, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.